Well, Curt Stewart, that's me. I started EMP, which is Emerging Media Productions, and we're a video production company that produces Higdon Outdoors TV and all the product videos for Higdon Outdoors and Mow Marsh and Power Calls. And then we also run the social media and create content for HEVI-Shot. I first got started with Higdon Outdoors by meeting Ben Higdon. We had some mutual friends and the company was starting to grow. This was probably 8 years ago. And they were looking to do some new product photography and product videos. And they needed a new logo designed, and a buddy of mine did some graphic design work. So we met with them and came on board initially just to do product photography and product videos for them. We worked with Higdon Outdoors for probably 1.5 years, just doing their product photography and videos. And Ben Higdon approached me one day and was like, hey, what do you think about going to Canada and shooting a TV show? And I was like, you mean like a hunting TV show? First of all, I've never made a TV show. Second of all, I've never been hunting before.
It was hard and easy than I thought because I knew I was gonna be there for a while training him. That was like the easy part. But then when he doesn't listen to me, like I thought that he was just gonna listen to me right away. But the hard part isn't that he doesn't listen to me right away and we actually have to train him to listen to us. If he won't sit, then we have to tell him, we have to like punish him because he won't sit. I thought he was just gonna get it right away and he didn't. That's the hard part. It's like I'm his parent and I have to be boss-like to him when he's not listening. So he knows the commands. You have to have like not a deep voice, but like to have a voice that like listens to you well.
This time I want you to be a little bit more boss-like, right? You can be a boss. Up, sit, back off, come back with confidence, okay? Stop when I tell you to stop and then just hold him there until I tell you to call him up, okay?
Sit.
Tell him again.
Henry, sit.
Much better. Again.
Sit.
Sit down. Wait. Now pick your lead up.
I've learned the obedience, how to recall. I learned how to like tell him to sit and stay and like come here and like up to go on his stand, that he'll like sit there forever and he won't move. Well, I really want to shoot a duck and cast him out to go get my first duck. That's what I really want to happen.
The one thing that I've learned, which I've expressed to a lot of friends that haven't had formal training, been trained like myself, is how important it is to be on the same page with your dog. And yep, you can send them away to a trainer, and we made regular trips down to Missouri and spent time with Henry, but he was always keyed in on Josh. And for him to be home now, him and I have to get on the same page. So it's just basic obedience skills through lines, through recalls. That's something that I never would have figured all our time and energy has to go into to get that dog on that same page. Because you just can't send him to a trainer and expect, hey, I got this dog, paid all this money, he's gonna work, and he just sits there and looks at you because he doesn't know what's going on. To get Henry to get confidence in me is something that's really important to me right now because we got early goose season coming up here shortly and I got about 2 weeks to start the basics over, and it should take about that to where we're on the same page together. I guess that would be the most important thing I learned. And with Kate, she's starting to grasp onto how important this is, a working dog from a home dog. And making that transition for her has been pretty hard because she wants a pet, she wants somebody, you know, that she can play with, to where she's finally starting to understand that Henry is happy when he's in his kennel, when he's working, not when he's laying on her bed, you know, and they're hanging out eating bonbons or cheese puffs together. So that's been a big struggle for Kate and even myself, because I've been telling her consistently, this is what Henry is, this is his job, this is what I want, this is the bar that's been set for him. And so we're working towards that.
So said I'd be down to try it. We went up there and realized that getting birds on camera was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life. And then the only thing harder than that was probably waking up at 3 a.m. to go out in the field with those guys and do all that. It was just, I mean, it was a whole new world for me and something that I was completely unfamiliar with, and a real culture shock, but it was awesome. I mean, I remember after the first hunt that we went up there, we were hunting Canada geese. We weren't even doing ducks. And it was so difficult. After the first day, I was sitting in the lodge afterwards thinking, how am I gonna tell these guys that, like, we can't do this? Like, I can't do it. They're pointing at birds and I'm looking for them and I don't see them until they're firing the shot, right? There's some disconnect when you've never hunted before. You don't know where to focus your eyes and where to look for the birds. They say there's birds out front and I'm looking 2 miles away and don't realize they're maybe 500 yards out. And it was, I mean, it was embarrassingly bad and frustrating.
Where he's at in the training, he's been with us at the kennel since February, and basically he is staged up to go into his first hunting season. So what that means is all of his basic obedience is done. He's been introduced to structured retrieves, he's been introduced to gunfire, he's been introduced to marks, he's been introduced to lining, he can handle left, right, and back. That sounds like a lot, and it is, but those are all introductory skills that we go through in our program that first off season. And what we call it is, that's a started gun dog. All the basics are there, the foundation blocks are laid. Now it's time to start slowly putting that into practice. So Henry at this point could go out and do a duck hunt, but here's the key. I'm not gonna let him go do that with the Neris family right off the bat. I'm not gonna tell him to go out tomorrow and go shoot geese over this dog. They're gonna have to take the next month and get on the same page with Henry. Even though he knows and has all these skills, he doesn't have all those skills with the Neris family yet. So they've got to spend the next month, what I call getting on the same page. The communications have to be worked out. Once they're getting the responsiveness out of him that Henry's got with me right now, then would be a nice time to go out and pick out a very nice, structured, controlled, simple hunt. And what we're looking for is something nice and simple, not overly complicated, not overly complex for him, where he can go out, they could shoot a few birds and they've got some nice straightforward retrieves. And if Michael can find that, Henry can go out and he can go on that first hunt, run a couple retrieves, and he'll do just fine. Young dogs like this, you're not gonna take them out and you're not gonna let them pick every bird that you shoot. A good rule of thumb that I always tell people is for every 8 birds you shoot, you can let your dog go pick 1. Because what we don't want to do is undo all of this obedience and all of this steadiness work that we've been working on for the last 6 months and throw all that away and just send him out on every bird that we shoot this first season. So that's where Henry's at now. I'm very, very excited. He's a very nice young dog. He's got a lot of talent under him, and I'm excited to see what he does in the next couple of years.
You know, early on, it's embarrassing, but I felt a little bad about watching the birds get killed. I'd never done it before, wasn't really familiar with it, and didn't understand the tradition and the culture and the history that went into it. But after a few years of shooting the show, you know, and being around the guys and seeing how passionate they were about it, and seeing the birds get dressed in the field and breasted out and preparing the food and eating them, and realizing like this is a culture and a way of life that is really special to these guys, and I started to understand it. But it wasn't until a couple years into doing it that Ben Higdon and I were down at the Higdon farm doing some product photos and some videos. And just at the end of the day, and the ducks started working coming in, and Ben happened to have his shotgun down there, and he was like, "Hey, do you wanna shoot one?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I'll try it." Like, and remember the first greenhead came in and missed my first shot, and as it was going out, I got him just as he was about to get out, and man, it was incredible, an incredible feeling to be, I've shot birds, thousands of birds with a camera, but the first time doing it with the gun and doing it with Ben Higdon, who's, one of my best friends now, was just an incredible experience. And right then, that was when I fully understood why it is these guys do what they do, why they get up at 3 a.m. in freezing temperatures and hike out in the middle of a field with a bunch of decoys. Just totally made sense.